all our participants, to all our participants from various offices and universities in the Philippines and Mexico, members of the Diplomatic Corps, colleagues from other Philippine Foreign Service posts, members of the Filipino communities under our jurisdiction, those who are joining us via our YouTube channel or who will be joining us via our YouTube channel, friends and my colleagues at the Philippine Embassy in Mexico, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to the 9th episode of La Historia Olvidada, Filipinas, Mexico 2024, with Dr. Emmanuel Franco Calairo, Chairman of Cavite Historical Society and former Chairman of the National Historical Commission of the Philippines as our resource speaker. Welcome po, Doctor. Dr. Calairo will talk on the Cavite Study Center and the preservation of the Manila Galleon heritage. Cavite is one of the important provinces that fought for our independence, no, before. On behalf of the Embassy of the Philippines in Mexico, allow me to express my sincerest appreciation to you, Dr. Calairo. Thank you for your support to our events, especially related to the preservation of Manila Acapulco Galleon heritage. To our new participants, La Historia Olvidada Filipinas Mexico started in October last year. To be exact, on 17 October. So it has been a year. And we had really good episodes so far. And a lot of our, how do you say that, the first time participants really came back from time to time or every month to be able to listen to the presentations that our speakers from all over the world, from Mexico, from Spain, from Peru, from the Philippines, no, and our activity, we would not have been able to reach this far without our partners who were mentioned by NJ, no. For example, Dr. Cristil Obispado of the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Dr. Thomas Calvillo of El Colegio de San Luis, and Dr. Ivan Valdez Buvnov of the Philippine-Mexico Studies Program based at the Universidad Nacional Autónoma de Mexico. And our resource speakers, who are all experts on Philippine-Mexico relations. We started with the idea of having this colloquium in Spanish, but there were a lot of demands from the Filipinos in the Philippines and in the United States. So because they do not know much about Spanish, so we had to change the plan. So ever since, our speakers have been delivering their pieces in English. The Philippine Embassy in Mexico is forever grateful to all of them. As we said earlier, La Historia Olvidada aims to highlight 5 pivotal events and contexts that have shaped the engagements between the Philippines and Mexico, spanning from the 16th century to the contemporary period. Likewise, to elevate scholarly, diplomatic, and cultural exchanges between the Philippines and Mexico, and to understand the role of the Manila-Acapulco galleons in shaping relations and pioneering global trade. Without further ado, I wish to welcome you all again, and thank you very much for your participation. I hope that we will have a robust discussion afterwards. And muchas gracias a todos. Mabuhay.
Thank you so much po, Ma'am Ambassador. I'd like to call on now Mr. Ralph Roldan, First Secretary and Consul of the Philippine Embassy in Mexico, to introduce our resource speaker for today's session. Sir?
Our guest speaker finishes AB Political Science at the University of the East Manila, Master of Arts in Teaching and PhD in History at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. He taught at the Department of History, De La Salle University, Manila in 1995 and appointed consultant at De La Salle University, Dasmariñas in 1997. He became full-time faculty of the Social Sciences Department from 1998 to 2022. He was appointed director of the Cavite Study Center from 1998 to 2007, and also became concurrent director of the University Research Office in 2006. In 2007, he was appointed Dean of the College of Liberal Arts up to 2012. In 2018, he was appointed as Assistant Vice Chancellor for Research and in 2020 became concurrent director of the Cavite Study Center of DLSU Dasmariñas until 2022. Our guest speaker initiated the founding of the Association of Local Studies Centers in the Philippines, with founding members coming from Cavite, Bulacan, Batangas, Tayabas, Baguio, Mindoro, Cebu, and Marawi in 2008. He was elected chair of the Philippine Academic Consortium for Latin American Studies, or PACLAS, in 2010. In 2012, the Board of Trustees of the Philippine Historical Association elected him president and head of the professional organization for 4 years. During his presidency, Dr. Calairo collaborated with the Malaysian Historical Society and Society of Indonesian Historians, and they established the International Council for Historical and Cultural Cooperation in Southeast Asia in 2015. In 2019, our speaker served as pursuivant in the Supreme Council of the Order of the Knights of Rizal. From 2019 to 2022, he served at the National Commission on Culture and the Arts in various capacities, being Commissioner on Cultural Heritage. In 2020, former President Rodrigo Duterte appointed him as member of the Board of Commissioners of the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, or NHCP. Following this, he was also appointed as member of the Commission on Higher Education Technical Panel on History. Our guest speaker served as NHCP chairman from 2023 to 2024, with equivalent cabinet rank of an undersecretary, and as NHCP chair, he was tasked to advise the Philippine President and Congress on matters relating to Philippine history. His remarkable contribution as chair was the release of Administrative Order Number 10 of President Marcos commemorating the 650th anniversary of Philippine Muslim history and heritage from 2024 to 2030. Our guest speaker is also an award-winning author and written more than 40 books. From 1996 up to the present. During the pandemic, he reached out to the community by establishing the online public service program Doc Money and Inyong Kabayani, a weekly show at TV Channel 8, online simultaneously streamed at CSC TV YouTube channel since 2022. He was recognized as outstanding online TV host by TV Channel 8. Last month, he produced music video cover of Samut Saring Iisa by Ken Charcos to promote inclusivity and national unity. Our guest speaker for today's event is no other than Dr. Emmanuel Manny Calairo, popularly known as Doc Manny, ang inyong kabayani.
Good morning, everyone. Magandang umaga po dito sa Pilipinas at magandang gabi. Good evening in Mexico. No? First, I would like to thank our organizing institution for inviting me in this program. Now, let me also acknowledge, of course, our good ambassador, Her Excellency Lilibet Dayapera, and the rest of the embassy officials for this project and their collaborators. So thank you very much for providing me an opportunity to share some of my experiences in promoting Philippine-Mexican relations that zeroed in on the galleon trade. No? So allow me to share my presentations so that we could be guided by my presentation. Okay, so my presentation is titled The Cavite Study Center and the Preservation of the Manila Galleon Heritage. So Cavite Historical Society logo is there because I'm now the president chairman of that society and being a faculty of De La Salle University, Dasmariñas. For introduction, these are some of the observations. No? First, the year 2021 was a milestone celebration for the Philippines. Why? Because it commemorated the 500 or the anniversary of the Philippine contact between the Philippines and the Filipinos and the Spaniards when the expedition of Ferdinand Magellan and Juan Elcano landed in what would become the Philippines in 1521. No? However, it's only during that the period of 1565 when Miguel Lopez de Legazpi established the first Spanish community in Cebu that became the Spanish foothold in the Philippines. No? That started. No, it was successful because Legazpi initiated his expedition from Mexico and not from the distant Spain, no? Cutting his voyage instead of traversing the Atlantic only in the Pacific. So my aim today is to share to you the various initiatives, no, on the preservation of the legacies of the Galleon from the national and local and the private sector. And with that, I would like to zero in on the initiatives of the Cavite Study Center of De La Salle University, Dasmariñas. Now, before focusing on the initiatives of the Cavite Study Center, here are some of my observations in the legacies of the Manila Galleon. No? First, Philippine archival documents related to the Manila Galleon are not readily available to the public. You know, we have published books, no, about the galleon trade, but they are not really accessible to the general public. So even simple, or rather, students or faculty of history in the far-flung areas, or even in the institutions beyond Manila, they are not keen of the galleon trade history, no, because there are only few documents accessible to them. Mostly these documents are accessible only in Manila, and good thing that we have this online platform that we could access it now, no, even in the outside the Philippines. Then, with respect to the location of the galleon trade in Cavite, it's actually restricted because it's a military facility. So generally, not open to the public, no. And up to date, no historical marker was installed by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, no. So it's very hard to pinpoint where is the exact location of the galleon trade as of the moment, no. And with that, there's no renovation conducted for its preservation. If you go to Cavite City, Cavite City is the formerly to Cavite Puerto, where the galleon was docked, no? Right now, Cavite City is it's an area with the Philippine Navy, no? And the shipbuilding during the Spanish period became part of the military facilities of the Philippine Navy. So it's really restricted for private individuals. If you want to go there, you have to secure permission from the government. Another thing would be the limited discussion on the galleon trade in the Philippine history curriculum. It was not actually highlighted in our in the Philippine history curriculum. If you will notice, no, well, looking back in our curriculum in Philippine history, we divided it into pre-colonial period, then Spanish period, basically Spanish period. Then afterwards, you have the reaction to Spanish colonialism, then the birth of the Philippine nationalism, eventually the reform movement and the revolutionary period. So if you focus on the Philippine-Mexican relation or the Galleon trade per se, it's only subsumed as a few pages devoted in the pages of Philippine history. So it's very hard to pinpoint or highlight in the Philippine history curriculum the role of of Mexico in shaping the Philippine history during the Spanish colonial era, especially the role of the galleon trade. So there's only a limited discussion in the classroom on this one. Another thing, one of the galleon legacy would be the Chabacano language. No? And as of the moment, the Chabacano language is already diminishing. Why? Because only few people can speak Chabacano language. There are some initiatives like establishment of organizations, no, to preserve the language, no, to teach that language in the primary or secondary level, but it's not concretized. So as of this moment, as far as I'm concerned, no, the Chapagano of Cavite is already diminishing, and it needs proper attention in order to document it. Then to add more, no, regular venue for discussion on Philippine-Mexican relation in general, aside from the galleon trade. We only have discussion on Philippine-Mexican relation, maybe initiated by the Philippine Embassy or the Mexican Embassy in the Philippines. But with respect to academic institutions or with respect to my former office, the Philippine National Historical Commission of the Philippines, the discussion is more on the Philippine-Spanish relation and not Philippine-Mexican relation. So I think there's a need, no, to come up with a regular activity for this one. Then lastly, the National Historical Commission's quincentennial commemoration, I already mentioned that earlier, no? It helped disseminate information about the galleon trade, no? Because when you speak about Spanish period, of course, from 1521 to 1898, the big bulk of history was basically focusing on Mexican relation, because since Miguel Lopez de Legazpi established the first community, no, the San Miguel in Cebu, no, then we could say that that started formally the Mexican link with the Philippines, and it ended up to the end of the galleon trade in the 19th century. So let me acquaint you about the Cavite Study Center. Well, first, the Cavite Study Center is a department, a unit of De La Salle University, Dasmariñas. When you speak about De La Salle University or La Salle, no, De La Salle, no, La Salle, no, in the Philippines, De La Salle University was established in 1911, and since then it actually multiplied different campuses. And outside Manila, the neighboring province is Cavite, and they established in one of the town in Cavite, which is Dasmariñas. That's why it's called De La Salle University in Dasmariñas, no? And since Cavite, as already mentioned by our happened. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Do you see my? Okay. So sorry.
Yes, sir. We still see your presentation, sir.
Okay. Am I speaking fast or not? Okay, it's okay.
We can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Okay. Sorry for that interruption. So, De La Salle University des Marinas, no, founded by Brother Andrew Gonzalez, and he also the brother Lasallian brother Andrew Gonzalez was also instrumental in establishing the Cavite Study Center. So, again, going back, study center for Cavite, meaning to say all studies related to the Cavite heritage. And the objectives would be to contribute to the national and local scholarship, to keep track of the developments in Cavite as a province, no? To, of course, as an academic institution, to translate its mission vision and focusing research on local history and culture. And it's envisioned to be a major study center in the Philippines, no? So with that, the study center divided its programs into three. Conduct research, studies about Cavite, no, development of its library collection, and promotion of Cavite history and culture. So with these programs, the galleon trade will come in. So these are just some of the photos. No, we have the so-called Caviteñana collection. So we have books, both primary and secondary, about different towns in Cavite, especially Cavite Puerto, and also information about the galleon. Then these are the archival collection. Archival collection means collection came from the Philippine National Archives. No, so because before we went to the National Archives and photocopied all these documents related to Cavite and put it in our library in the Cavite Study Center. Now, vertical file was devoted on town histories. No, basically these are manuscripts, loose leaf. Sometimes it's a souvenir program coming from the local level. So we compile it. We have it, put it in a box so that it would be easily accessible to the students. No, then we have the general reference related to Philippine history that mention about Cavite. So we have a nice collection. If someone would like to focus on Cavite studies, particularly on the Galleon. We also have microfilm and microfiche collection. No? These are the microfilm, microfiche of rare books and periodicals. We have it acquired, from the Ateneo de Manila University and the Philippine Revolutionary Records from the NARA, no, National Archives of the United States. No? So all those things can be found in the Cavite Study Center. And there are lots of documents, no, related to Cavite Puerto and the Galleon, but you need to, of course, to open each microfilm and look for the proper document related to your topic. With respect to promotion, since 1998, the center became a primary institution in focusing on the preservation of history of Cavite, no? And from time to time, we highlight the galleon trade because the shipbuilding is in Cavite Puerto, no? And this is we have a regular activity since 1998 up to the present time, no? Before it's actually a year-long project, but right now because due to limited funds, we only focus on a few months, no, focusing on studies. Yeah.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir, is your slide stuck or are you on a different page, sir? Based on your discussion. Sir. Are you still in that same
I think
slide,
it's
sir?
yeah. Okay. Do you see now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's not okay. So these are the collections that I'm mentioning. Then the microfilm reels. These are the equipment. We have the microfiche and microfilm collection, special collection also. We acquire donations from um, politicians and librarians and historians that make up our special collection. And these are the poster of our activities launched by the Cavite Study Center. And from these activities, the studies and promotion of the Galleon is injected. And during the pandemic, we also have this collaboration with the local history committees network, no? The LHC and webinar series. And in series 5, we focus on Spanish heritage, and it dealt with the Galleon, no? Like Dr. Navarro focusing on the Galleon trade, no? And I myself also highlighted it. Then the Cavite Study Center also have this regular newsletter which is called Galleon, no? Meaning to say the carrier of information, no? From one place to another, because the Galleon became the transmitter of culture from Acapulco to Manila, vice versa. So we named our newspaper as Galleon, and in our some of the issues of the Galleon, the newsletter focused on the Galleon trade, the Galleon route. No? Um, uh, since we have a very good link in the local level, we managed to collaborate with some of the historians and linguists in Cavite City or in Cavite Puerto, and publications were gathered, no, and it became part of our library collection. And these books were basically done by a Chabacano speaker, a teacher in Cavite Puerto, which is Enrique Escalante. However, Enrique Escalante is already he passed away already. So his initiatives were actually not continued by Cavite City. No, I hope someone will focus on the Chabacano. But as you can see in his publication, it's actually a module, no, Chabacano for everyone, no, a guide to the Chabacano language. You have learning Chabacano, a handbook, no. Then this dictionary Chabacano was published by a Chabacano organization. And Chabacano Studies, Essays on Cavite Chabacano Language and Literature, it was written by, the author is Emmanuel Luis Romanillos, but it was published by the Cavite Historical Society. Now, you may note that there's also a Chabacano language in Zamboanga, no? Because when Fort Pilar was constructed in Zamboanga, in Zamboanga City, no, there are several artisans and masons from Cavite City who are Chabacano speakers. They were transported to Zamboanga, and these masons were the one who implanted the Chabacano language in Zamboanga City, which is compared to Cavite now, Chabacano Zamboanga is more flourishing than Chabacano in Cavite. And 14 years ago, we had this collaboration with the Western Mindanao State University about a national conference on the Chabacano language. So we have presentations coming from the faculty of Western Mindanao State University and Zamboanga City about their heritage preservation of Chabacano and the Cavite heritage preservation in the province of Cavite. It was initiated by the Cavite Historical Society, also the Cavite Study Center. Another thing would be the collection of materials coming from the local level. The Cavite Study Center, being a premier institution of collecting materials related to Cavite, especially on matters pertaining to history, we had collected this souvenir program of Cavite Town Fiesta from 1930s up to the 1980s. No, the devotion to the Nuestra Señora de la Soledad de Portavaga. No. In Cavite City, the Nuestra Señora de la Soledad de Portavaga was also considered as the patron saint of the Galleon, no? Because whenever the Galleon was dispatched in Cavite Puerto going to Acapulco, it was blessed through the intercession of Nuestra Señora de la Soledad de Portavaga. No? So until now, it's continuing, no? The Cavite Feast, no? And explaining the devotion to the Nuestra Señora de la Soledad de Portavaga. This is, of course, different from the Our Lady of Voyage, no, in Antipolo, which is also from one time became part of Cavite City. The Cavite Study Center also became an instrument in convening various local seminars and conferences, no, in order to keep track on what is happening on the academe in terms of research and heritage preservation, no, coming from various sectors of the government like the LGU, no, local government, and the national agencies, no. So like this one, this photo, no, it focuses on the Cavite Galleon, jointly sponsored by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, the Department of Foreign Affairs, and the Mexican Embassy. No, so with that, no, the Cavite Study Center provide venue for discussion in Cavite galleon research and prospects. Another thing would be the Fort San Felipe at Cavite Puerto. No, I already mentioned earlier that the Baradero de Cavite, or the shipbuilding, was in the inside the military facility. So as the Fort San Felipe at Cavite Puerto, it's actually adjacent, no, in the shipbuilding area, no. But again, I mentioned this photo because this Fort San Felipe is only accessible with the permission coming from the uh, naval office. No, you cannot. This is it's like a tourist spot, but you cannot access it. You cannot go there without permission or authority coming from the from the naval agency. So it's very hard to access. Right now, no. So well, in the post-war period or even the 70s, no, we could see that there's no substantial physical development in Cavite, no. But right now, because of the urbanization, no, the coming of people, no, commercialization and industrialization in Cavite, it threatens the symbols of the past, and and eventually it might be forgotten in the future if no local legislation will be done in order to preserve it. So the influx of services like food chains, no, the mushrooming of subdivisions, communities, no, putting up of industrial parks, and even garbage, no, all those things, no, affects, no, the preservation of heritage. And with respect to Cavite City, no, Cavite City is actually a peninsula, no, and right now it can be only accessed through a one highway. We call it Dalahican, no? So the mushrooming of subdivisions, migration, no, threaten the preservation of the Cavite Puerto heritage, no? So might be the presence of the naval facilities help, no, preserve the the site of the galleon trade, because they cannot access it, no. But right now, no, in the Philippine development plan, the Cavite Puerto, or the Cavite City now, is eyed to have an airport, no, an airport, new airport and seaport. So with that, I think there's a need, no, to uh, to have to have a campaign, no, to preserve the heritage of Cavite Puerto inside the naval facility, because uh, with the construction of the commercial, no, airport and the seaport, it will definitely affect, no, the uh, the heritage of the location of the galleon trade. So a good thing that the Cavite Study Center was in collaboration with the Cavite Historical Society. No, the Cavite Historical Society is a local, a provincial society that it acts as vanguard, no, in awakening the public and private sector about the status of the cherished heritage of Cavite Province. No, not only the galleon but different heritage like houses, bridges, no, and even the intangible heritage, the history, no. So with the help of the Cavite Historical Society, we could monitor, no, the happenings in Cavite Puerto. We could collaborate with the local government unit and aim and aired our opinion and our advocacies in relation to heritage promotion and preservation, no. So since the early 2000 up to now, the Cavite Historical Society is our major partner in promoting the Galleon heritage. Now, in 2004, Brother President Andrew Gonzales requested the Cavite Study Center to become member of PACLAS to attend the Philippine Academic Consortium for Latin American Studies, no? Because the De La Salle University Dasmariñas is eyed as the De La Salle place for heritage. You know, La Salle campuses is have its own different highlights. No, for example, in other campus you have the medicine. The other campus you have the IT, like the Vinil. The other campus focusing on agriculture. In terms of the La Salle Dasmariñas, it will focus on heritage. That's why the late brother President Andrew Gonzales invited us to attend the Philippine Academic Consortium for Latin American Studies, and since then, I observed that the consortium became the effective driver in forging discourse on the galleon trade. No, it all started in 2002 when the Philippines hosted a ministerial meeting of the Forum of East Asia Latin American Cooperation in Fialac. It was actually um, hosted in Tagaytay City, no, where several academic institutions were invited, no, and with their they established the PACLAS, no. So PACLAS is actually a working committee, no. Now during the working committee meetings, the Department of Foreign Affairs, no, made a resolution, no, to establish an academic consortium that will address various concerns in cultural studies, exchanges, and other fora that will promote Latin American studies in the Philippines. Of course, Latin American studies, but again, as I mentioned earlier in our informal discussion, there are only few people, no, who are knowledgeable of Latin America. When you speak about Latin America, it's usually Mexico, no? It's very hard for them to think about link like other Latin American countries like Argentina, Chile, no, Peru, no, Colombia, no. It's more on always Mexico because Mexico is part of the Philippine history, no. So because of the said resolution, head of schools were invited, no, and they finally recognized the following. No? The importance of the centuries-old relation between the Philippines and the Latin American region, both sharing a common historical and cultural heritage. No? The vastness, dynamism, and diversity of Latin America with its more than 400 million inhabitants. No? So it's more of the prospects. No? And the value of the Spanish language and culture as an indispensable tool in improving understanding and appreciating of Latin America in all its aspects, as well as the Philippines' own historical and cultural heritage, and the potential for enhanced cooperation. No? So it explains about Spanish tradition, but of course, we cannot dispense about Latin American connection because when speak about uh, Spanish connection in the Philippines, you always go first to Latin America. So the PACLAS shared various materials, cooperate on projects with similar consortia or centers for Latin American studies all over the world. No, so when during our chairmanship, we hosted the second PACLAS International Conference, themed Bicentennial of the Philippine Latin American Relations, and I was then the convener, and it was the first day was held in La Salle, Manila. The second is in the University of Santo Tomas, and we also have the series of Semana Latino Americana. In the photo is members of PACLAS and some of the diplomatic corps. So with PACLAS, there's a regularity of publication, like this one, So establish mechanism for joint research facilities, resource centers and materials, including books, journals, before it's CD-ROMs and documents, And I already mentioned, organize and coordinate the periodic holding of a Semana Latino Americana, no, cultural, no, in collaboration with relevant diplomatic missions and honorary consulates, as well as other groups and entities, no. This one, book, no, Trans-Pacific Exchanges. This is a publication of PACLAS, and as you can see in the articles published in this volume, there are already always items or entries about the Galleon. So much effort on PACLAS was also put into developing active linkage to explore the possibilities of academic collaboration between schools in the Philippines and Latin America. No, so collaboration at this point. No, I don't know the update now, but before we reiterated that it include the conduct of and formulation of joint research programs, exchange of faculty and students, visiting professorships, cultural visits, joint sponsorships of lectures, seminars, and conferences. So this was the cover page of the publication of the Second Latin American Studies Conference, no? So in cooperation with the Dia del Galleon Festival in 2010, so only 14 years ago. So we also had this, we initiated a program on Chabacano language, no? Preservation of Chabacano language by having a competition for kids, no? Who could converse with Chabacano. Old photos related to, there's already the so-called Chabacano cuisine, no? Already, or those delicacies that became very prominent in Cavite City during the Galleon days. So it was held in an elementary school in Cavite City. It was initiated by PACLAS. And another driver for the Galleon trade that I observed was this Philippine-Spanish Friendship Day. No, because there's no dedicated day for Latin American Friendship Day or Filipino-Mexican, no, Friendship Day, no. So what I noticed, we only have this Republic Act number 9187 series of 2003, which created the Philippine-Spanish Friendship Day, no, every 30th day of June, no, to commemorate the Philippine President Emilio Aguinaldo honoring the gallantry of the last Spanish garrison in Baler. That was 30th of June 1899, no. So the decree gave the garrison safe passage from Baler to Manila amidst the Philippine-American War to facilitate their return home. So that's the commemoration. But actually, when you speak about the commemoration, it's a year-long commemoration that includes different aspects of the Philippine-Spanish relation, and that one that include the Galleon activities, like this one. The Dia del Galleon, input was the late Senator Edgardo Angara. No, he was the one who initiated, you know, the Philippine-Spanish Friendship Day. But he promotes, no, the Dia del Galleon, no, and there's a press conference. No, I'm still young during that time. No, and in that photo, and with me is Jeremy Barnes, also very young. No. So there's a commemorative activity, no, partnership with the NHCP, the municipality of Baler, the office of the senator, Instituto Cervantes, no, and the embassy of Spain, no. That's the usual template of the Philippine Spanish Friendship Day commemoration. But usually during my stint as chairman for 1 year, no, I noticed that every April of the year, there was a call for they convened this technical working group, no, of Philippine Spanish Friendship Day, no, and they request, no, among the members proposals that will promote Philippine Spanish relations, no, and of course during this submission of proposals, you cannot do away with Mexico, because when Philippine Spanish relations is always there. No, Mexico is always there, or the Latin America is always there. So with that, you could submit proposals in relation to the Galleon, in relation to Mexico, no, in relation to Latin America as a whole. So with that, we have this publication, no, probing Philippine Spanish connections in history, no. So selected papers from the Philippine Spanish Friendship Day in 2011, the second Dia del Galleon anniversary commemoration, a return to our Hispanic roots, revitalizing, or rather revisiting the galleon trade, no. So you could see in the articles included in this volume, no, there are so many articles about the galleon, no, and under the Philippine Spanish Friendship Day. Also this one, no, Philippine Spanish Friendship Day, no, but articles related to the Galleon, no, like and the Chabacano. So even this one, no, Philippine Spanish relations, evaluation, and prospects, no. So there are a lot of publications. I'm not updated up to this time, but I believe there are so many publications related under the Philispa, but it discusses about the Galleon. So this one, selected papers, no, again, no, there's a section Chabacano language today. Another publications, legacies to be remembered in Southern Luzon. And the book, the Manila Galleon, no, El Galleon de Manila, no, basically dedicated to the Galleon. Most of these publications budget were coming from the Philippine Spanish Friendship Day allocation budget, no. So with that, no, what were the prospects, no? Having said all these initiatives coming from the Cavite Study Center in collaboration with the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, in collaboration with the Cavite Historical Society, and even the local governments, no? What were the prospects? First, there must be a continuing digitization of documents, no? Although I understand that the documents related to the Galleon in Archivo General de la Nación were already published by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. It's already printed as of the moment, no? But other documents has to be digitized, no? Then forging of local and international academic, no, diplomatic agreements in order to enhance the studies about the Galleon. Because when speak about the Galleon, well, basically the topic is about history, but eventually, you know, as I remember in one of the conferences of PACLAS, no, we discuss about the linkage in Asia Pacific Rim, no, and not only about history but also about economy, about geography, about governments, no, in different activities. So we need really academic and diplomatic agreements, no, for hosting or for partnerships, no. So active participation of the education sector, because when we speak about the Galleon or research about the Galleon, we are basically focusing on major universities like UP, Ateneo, UANP, LaSalle, no, UST, no, but other academic institutions, not the major ones, they're already at loss in terms of the Galleon heritage, because they are not. There's no venue for them to participate. So we have to create a platform for them to participate. Either this is physical or virtual. Then, of course, it's very important to provide regular funds for educational activities, popularization, research, event hosting. actually, I could say, in my experience, that PhilSpa is the biggest contributor in terms of promoting the galleon trade. But if we could, of course, as I say, come up with a separate friendship day, no, or link for Philippine or Mexico or Philippine Latin America or Philippines and the galleons, no, so that the government could allot funds for it. That would be that could help more in promoting the galleon heritage. Then various creative initiatives, not only academic, no, like in sports, no, like in the arts, no, that could help popularize the galleon legacies. And I was surprised when I was in NHCP, no, for a year, no. There's no installed mark of the Galleon, no. That's why when I was the chairman, I initiated, and hopefully they will continue it, no, to install historical markers, no, in Cavite City, number one, and number two in Acapulco, and in number three in Seville, and of course in other places where the Galleon dock, no. I understand. I think that the three markers, Cavite City, Acapulco, and Civil, they already included that in the NHCP program. So follow up is we could just follow it up, no, so that it would be realized, no. Then establishment of a sustainable Galleon Museum. No, before there's an initiative of Galleon Museum. In fact, there's already they already initiated in Mall of Asia, no, in SM Mall of Asia, no, but it I think they closed it because of several issues. But right now, I think the Galleon Foundation is already revived, and I hope that they could continue develop this sustainable Galleon Museum. With regards to research prospects, I think there's still a need of comprehensive annotated bibliography on the Galleon studies, no, because up to now there are so many sources, both primary and secondary, became accessible to the general public, no, and not only those sources coming from the Philippines, but also abroad, no. There should be a annotated bibliography so that the public would be aware about this and they could pursue it wherever wherever it's located, no. Then research on Cavite Puerto day-to-day involvement on the Galleon, no. There's one book about the Cavite Puerto, the last 200 years, no, by Father Ver Mendoza. It was the unpublished manuscript, no. But more than that, there are only few publications about the day-to-day activities during the Galleon days in Cavite Puerto. I think it's also important to focus on this. Research-based Chabacano modules, because it's already diminishing. I believe we should not only document about Chabacano words, no, but also promote it and teach it to the younger generation by means of research-based modules. Well, with respect to the Filipinos in the Philippines, no, well, we have idea about the Galleon here in Manila, but with respect to the Galleon in Acapulco, no, especially those Filipinos, I understand. The last time I went there, no, in last year, no, I was informed that there are already descendants of Filipinos who are engaged in the galleon trade before. So it's better to document that and to come up with a venue for discussion. Impact on the local community, no. Well, as of the moment, because of the industrialization, commercialization, and modernization, the local community they are not really aware of the historical value of the Galleon in Cavite Puerto. No, it's better that an awareness campaign be brought up, no, in order to for them to appreciate, and eventually they could come up with activities like historical or heritage tourism, no, promoting their uh, their area, which is the site of the galleon trade. Then finally, challenges ahead. No, I think the biggest challenge now would be the digital age. No, the advent of the social media, the Facebook, the YouTube, no, the TikTok, no, and other apps. No, because when speak about research, no, it's basically highly academic. No, we have to cascade that in the general public, and the only way, no, of cascading it, I believe, in my own point of view, would be to put all those data in the social media, no? Because the best transmitter of knowledge as of the moment is social media, no? So right now we don't have, I believe, no, as far as I'm concerned, no, there's no established social media, no, dedicated to the galleon trade promotion, no. So with that, no, I think as of the moment, the Cavite Study Center is still the number one agency that in the local level that promote the galleon heritage in the Philippines. No, aside from the Cavite Study Center, we will go up now the national level, which is the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. No, so even the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, no, they are not keen of having these galleon legacies, but they could promote it. But as of the moment, they don't have programs on this. Only the NHCP through the Phil Spa program, no. So I encourage our national government, no, especially our legislators and even our DFA to come up with mechanism that will have a separate program for Philippine-Mexican relation with respect to the galleon heritage, because it's only for this program that we could aggressively promote the galleon heritage, not only in the academy but also in the general public. So with that, I hope you learn more about my presentation. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much po, Sir Manny, for that very informative presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now open for your questions and comments. Is there anyone in our participants who have any questions po? Yes, Mr. George Bayona. Sir?
Hey, yeah, maraming salamat sa itong presentation. I find it very interesting. I am particularly interested about the Cavite Studies Center. There is you mentioned about Chavacano materials, and I'm wondering about if there are archival materials in Chavacano de Cavite to look at, like magazines, newspapers, novels, what have you, in that respect. Oh, and sorry, I did not introduce myself. I am Jorge Bayona. I'm from El Colegio de Mexico, the Center of Asian and African Studies. Thank you very much.
Sir George, thank you very much for that question. Yes, the Cavite Study Center could help you, no, facilitate your research in respect to Chabacano literatures. You know what? Before 1950s, the Cavite City community, especially the elderly, their language is Chabacano. They speak in Chabacano. So newspapers, local newspapers, newsletters, even journals, no, which is non-academic. It's the day-to-day activity, no. It's all in Chabacano. So as I already mentioned in my PowerPoint, there are already publications in Chabacano, even poems. There are so many poems on Chabacano. No, so if you'll come in the Philippines, the first stop would be Cavite Study Center, no, to force to identify those sources printed, no, and in microfilm. And second, to identify the informants who could help you, no, in getting more data in the locality, because the Cavite Study Center is very well hooked in the informants in the local level.
Okay, maraming salamat po. And do I need, siguro pupunta ako sa Pilipinas in December maybe? So I'm wondering, do I need to write ahead of time or can I just show up?
Yeah, well, the Cavite Study Center is part of De La Salle Das Marinas, an academic institution. So we have vacation during December. So yeah, usually it's the vacation start on December 21 and it will resume on January 10. No, so the Cavite Study Center is closed. No, however, you could contact me personally so I could assist you going to Cavite City for these informants.
Okay,
Yeah, just let's have email.
maraming salamat po.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much, Sir Jorge, for that question. Are there any other questions, po?
We have a question in the chat box.
Thank you, Miss Brenda. Sir Manny, there's one question here. I would like to raise a question if those publications or evidences are free to view or read.
Oh yes. Well, traditionally, most of the publications of the Cavite Study Center is not in soft copy uploaded, no. But right now, the National Historical Commission, they have the so-called National Memory Project, no. The National Memory Project was basically a collection of different documents and collections, no, coming from different repositories of data, no, libraries, and I believe that could help, no. If you're in Mexico, just access the National Memory Project of NHCP, no, and you could access several documents on the Galleon. No, you have to, of course, to identify the exact location of those papers so that you could easily access it. No, I remember that the Olvidada invited also Professor Ian Alfonso. No, he was the one who architect this National Memory Project. So contacting him would be a very wise move, no, in order to facilitate the access of soft copies or uploaded documents.
Thank you, sir. We have one more question from Mr. Denver Jovero. Aside from historical documents, are there any remnants of trades that is accessible to the public in Cavite, and what are its significance? And happy to know na hindi lamang po sa Manila, Acapulco, Galleon trade, but also in Cavite. Salamat po, Sir Manny.
Well, thank you, no, for that. Just to clarify, no, when you speak about Manila, Acapulco, no, we are referring to Manila as a capital, no. Pero physically, no, we are referring to Cavite. That's why even in the documents, you'll see Cavite, Acapulco, or Cavite, they refer it Cavite in general, no? Because the shipbuilding is in Cavite, and I also learned that they dock in Cavite, they unload the supplies, and from them they send it to Manila via land route, no? Using the Royal Camino Real, Royal Road, no? So it's always in Cavite, no? So right now, aside from documents, no, the National Museum, they declared it the Cavite Puerto as ano parang site for archaeological preservation, no. So there are so many artifacts, no? There are so many um, people to interview, no, and the more you dig deeper, no, archaeologically, makikita natin yung mga ano, no, we could access, no, so many buried mga materials like porcelain, Chinese porcelain wares during the Galleon trade, no, that can be analyzed, no, between relations in Philippines and Southeast Asia in the world, no. So going to Cavite City will not open opportunities, not only for documents but also for archaeological studies, no, not only in written form but also in the form of artifacts.
Thank you, sir, so much, Sir Manny. We have one question from our participant, Miss Brenda.
Marina, it's okay. Well, most like an answer, well, like a question. Sorry, I think. Thanks, Miss Money, because you say something very important, and if we think about the 12th of October, the last 12th of October, and how controversial is this question of the arrival of Colon and the Spaniards, etc., etc. And I think if we see the connection from the perspective of the colonialism and the Hispanic tradition, but not like a problem or not like an issue of identity, but it's the connection between America and Asia, especially Philippines. And I think we can construct this bridge from the Hispanic culture, and how the indigenous and the Chinese and the Japanese, etc., have to reorganize their world from this context with the Europeans. Not like I'm sorry, forget this word. Like just rechazar, like we don't like to know something about our heritage or Hispanic heritage or European heritage, but more like how these people or how these communities have to evolve. Reject how how these communities evolve in what are the nationals in the actuality. I think more like Latin American studies or Philippine studies or Asian studies. I think we have something in common, and it's that period of colonialism that give us our heritage in the actuality.
Yeah, I just want to respond to Miss Brenda Marina. Hello, good afternoon, good evening. No? The Galleon, Manila Galleon trade, no, or Manila Acapulco trade was also called as the first intercontinental trade, no, because it fly from Acapulco to Manila, and basically we are not only transporting goods from Manila, no, it's a doorway to Asia, no, China, Japan, and different places, no, and all these Asian goods are transported to Acapulco and going far to the west, no, so it links Asia to the world, no? So with that, it's really important to use the as talking point for Asia and Latin American and Europe relation, the Galleon trade, because the Galleon trade personifies the linkage between Asia, Asia Pacific region, and even the Atlantic area.
Thank you, sir. We have 6 more minutes for questions. Are there any more questions from our participants? If not, sir, I have one question, sir. I hope you don't mind. Sir, you mentioned earlier that one of the priorities is to preserve the Chabacano language, which is diminishing. Has the Cavite Historical Society or other similar agencies considered applying for assistance from international organizations like the UN, which have specific programs aimed to protect significant cultural and historical sites? I think for the language part, there is one called Endangered Languages, the UNESCO Atlas for Languages in Danger. Do you think, sir, that's a good strategy moving forward in helping the cause?
Well, definitely. Thank you very much for mentioning that. No, well, if you will ask me, the Cavite Historical Society is vanguard for promoting Chabacano heritage. But as member of the society, I am not. I think I will not recommend the Cavite Historical Society to champion that. I will recommend more the local government unit. No, we have this Cavite City government. No, who has this access to of course to the Chabacano heritage, no. So I think they are in a better position to apply for a grant, especially if it's a international one, because they might have the requirement of of being a government entity implementing a project, no, coming from the international entity, no. So that would be nice. And if if implemented, that would be only the first, I think, project that have a very um, major impact in heritage preservation of Chabacano.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we have one question from the chat box from Mr. and Miss Seldi. Good morning, Sir Emmanuel. I would like to ask if within the course of your research, if you have found any data about the Galleon connected in Cebu. Thank you.
Yeah, we have because there are there are galleon route domestically. No? There are galleon route domestically, so we could trace that route and study those places where the galleon docked and how it influenced the local population. No, take for example there are so many religious icons that were basically it came from Mexico, no, like the the Black Nazarene, I think, no, the also related would be the Our Lady of Buen Viaje Antipolo, no. There are so many, no, of course the Our Lady of Guadalupe, no. So there are so many contribution Mexican legacies in different localities that awaits to be consolidated and popularized, no, because as of the moment, if you will not study on that and highlight it as part of the of Mexican legacies in the Philippines, it will be subsumed to a more general concept of Spanish legacies, no? So I think we are all it's our responsibility, especially the academicians, no, those who are aware that we should popularize it to the general public, that they are all Mexican legacies in the Philippines, not only Spanish.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any more questions? Okay. If none, maraming salamat po, Sir Manny. At this point, I'd like to request all participants po sana to please indulge us and please turn on your camera for our group photo. Okay, is everybody ready? 3, 2, 1, smile. Just 1 second. Let's see the others. Okay, 3, 2, 1, smile.
Actually, nawala ka, NJ.
Diyan nawala.
Yes, ma'am. I turned off my camera because I'm taking a photo. I'm the one taking the photo. It's okay, ma'am.
Okay. So
Thank you
3+.
very much. Okay na po. Thank you very much to all our participants.
Yeah.
Sir, yes po.
We
Sir,
have
go ahead.
well, last parting words, no. We are aware that when we speak about Spanish colonialism, no, 1521 to 1898, no, but in 1521 Magellan died in Mactan. So 1521 to 1565, it's basically there's no history actually, no, about Spain in the Philippines because they went eventually only when Miguel Lopez de Legazpi came in 1565, and he came from Mexico. So that started the Mexican activity up to the time when Mexico declared independence with Spain I think 1821 something. 18 so with that, the bulk of more than 250 years, the so-called um Spanish colonialism is basically under under Mexico, no? And the only direct colonialism of Spain is from after independence, which is already 19th century. So it's less than a century. So imagine that. So there are so many elements of culture that has to be discovered during this time that coming from Mexico. So with that, I think that ends, no? And thank you very much. Also, I'm very happy to see Brenda Marina here, no, and Ma'am Marisa Winkler, no, and other friends who I met during my last visit in Mexico. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you po. At this point, again, gentle reminder to our participants to please accomplish the evaluation form, the link to which has been posted in the chat box. The evaluation form will be the basis for the issuance of certificates of participation. At this point, I'd like to call on Ms. Marisa Winkler, Third Secretary and Vice Consul of the Philippine Embassy to Mexico, for the closing remarks. Ms. Marisa?
Thank you, NJ. On behalf of the Philippine Embassy in Mexico, I would like to express my appreciation to Dr. Emmanuel Calairo for his very enlightening presentation. Personally, I learned a lot tonight. His presentation not only enhanced our knowledge on the Manila Galleon heritage, but also on what have been done to preserve this heritage and what can be done. And to our participants, thank you very much, especially those who have been with us since day one, since episode 1 of La Historia Olvidada. And as a way of celebrating the first anniversary of La Historia Olvidada, and as our part in preserving the Manila Galleon heritage, I would like to ask your assistance to visit our YouTube channel. The previous episodes are there. Please share them to your friends, families, and contacts. Thank you very much, and see you next month. Have a good day.
Thank you po. Thank you so much po. Happy weekend.
Thank you, Sir Dr. Calairo.
Salamat po. Thank you for considering me. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Sana
Bye-bye.
po,
Bye-bye.
sana po we can also expect Miss Gemma Araneta for the next presentations because we know the work that you did when you were still in Mexico. Andito pa po ba siya? Is she still online? Wala na ata. Because ma'am, we've distributed the copies of your books. You mentioned that you work with Dr. Cristina Baron and organized the El Galleon de Manila. And the materials that you gave us or that Miss Fatima gave us, we also gave it away to some of the schools that we visited for the materials that they can use in their research. Yun lang po.